Hello everybody, this is T with Kate's Crafty Closet, and today we're going to do a tutorial on how I made this panel. So initially, this is the one I did, which was actually a tutorial from Zoe off of her blog, and this was using some distressed paints and all that. And this is the 3D embossing folder from Sizzix and Tim Holtz that I went ahead and used. This one is called Brickwork, and I will link everything in the description box below that I used in today's video. But yesterday I was playing around with the new prize ribbon colors and different formats and stuff, so this is kind of what I came up with. I was like, how is this gonna work? It may work. It just so happened that this had to be sitting next to me when I was playing with the prize ribbon, so I was like, why not give it a shot? So I went ahead and pre-did the this is just some white cardstock, some cheap inexpensive cardstock from Amazon, and I decided to apply the regular distress ink with one of these clarity brushes that I've been having in my my craft room. So you can use any brush that you have like this, just because I like when I use this, I'm going to get different color variations. Like some areas are going to be more concentrated, others, and that's what I like, because brick is not perfect, and it's, see how I get a darker area, have a lighter area. So just go ahead and color this whole thing with ink, and stop when you feel you're ready to stop. But the only thing you really need to do is make sure that the whole thing is covered in ink. You want darker areas, you want lighter areas. I chose not to leave white, because white's going to be on the inside of the brick to separate it. So that is kind of what it winds up looking like. Super easy, super fun. And just like I said, see how you got the darker areas, the lighter areas, and if you feel like, okay, that area is too light, or that area, so add a little bit more color. Okay, so there, I am perfectly fine with that. See how quick and easy and simple that was? So I'm going to put that to the side because we're pretty much done with that. And next thing we're going to use is some Black Soot Distress Archival. You have the big ones now, that's great. Or if you have the big one that has a 4 in it, that's perfect to use, or the minis. So I just have a ink blending foam. If you have the domed ones, those work just as fine. So I went ahead and took some of this black soot, and I'm just lightly going to put some over the top just to darken up some of the areas. And you don't need to put it on every aspect of this, just in the areas that you just want to. It's like, it's no really, there's no pattern to it, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. And because I'm probably going to use this for a card, I went ahead and inked these edges up, because that makes it stop. If you want the illusion that the brick continues, you most certainly cannot ink the edges up, and the eye will automatically think that that brick is continuously going. So it all depends on the look you're going for, the project you're trying to make. So like florals will look great on these brick walls. So that's why I went ahead and did that. And I discovered that, so that's kind of done. You see how that's kind of done? If you want more, you can always go ahead and add a little bit more of that black soot. And what I went ahead and did is I also decided to just spritz a little bit of water on it, because you know it's going to wick out and stuff, so you're going to get a little bit more texture in there. And I just went ahead and took my heat gun and dry that up. And for the sake of this video, I want to make sure it's dry before I show you the final step, which is the most tedious part, but it's not as bad as I anticipated. So, and the thing is, I'm going to experiment with different color combinations, because You know, you can have any, brick can be any color you want it to be. We have the technology that allows us to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the water off here because I don't want it to rip my cardstock. And I'm not going to do the complete thing. So the key to my success in this thing, and which I really love, is like normally you can use gesso and a paintbrush to go in between the bricks. But remember, you have to, gesso is wet. And wet on this, wet on distress will move the distress ink. So you're going to have to clean your brush each and every time. So I discovered that a pointed Stabilo white pencil works great for this technique. So you're just going to go in between this, and you can go as many times as you want or as less as you want, and you can take your time. I'm not going to say I'm really good at taking my time. That's why you'll see that some of that white pencil may go on the actual brick itself, but that's kind of what you're going to do. It's like the paper is still a little bit wet, so I'm going to try not to do that. So let's just do one complete line at the top so you can get an idea of what it looks like. It kind of makes it pop off the page when you have that bright white. And you can just wipe off your pencil if you happen to get any ink on there, which you probably will. So you just continue to do that. We'll do the next line, and then I'll just go back to my sample that I completed, and just constantly keep a pencil sharpener close by so you have a sharp point with this Stabilo, because it just makes it easier to get in those grooves when it starts going down and getting blunt. A little bit more difficult. See how that went on the brick a little bit? And just remember, these Stabilos, you can move them with water. So I can take that away if I want, but I'm not going to, because we can just say the masonry, you know, made a boo boo, and just did that. See how it starts to get dull? So I don't have my pencil sharpener in here. So I'm gonna do this last line with you all. Then we'll go back and I'll show you what the difference looks like between not done with the white or done with the white. So with that being said, here we go. Here's the completed one, and I can go back and add a little bit more of that black soot if I want, but you see the difference in when you add the white and when you don't have the white. It's completely 100% different. So the more of the black soot you add, the more it just changes the dimension and the color. This one is a little bit more blue, which is fine. This is a little bit more muted because I added a lot more archival ink on that. But that is the tutorial for today. And like I said, you can always go back and add more black. You know, don't feel like you can't add it. And remember, the black soot is archival. It's not going to it's not going to react with the distressed ink. It's going to go on top of it because it's an oil-based ink. So with that being said, this completes the tutorial for today. So I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure you check out the store. I will link everything that I use in today's video in the description box below, and we have a coupon code as always for the store. That's going to be Save 5 off of your order of $25 or more. So thank you all very much, and have a crafty day, y'all.